Hello everybody. Anybody who maybe is subscribed to this channel might expect me to specifically be doing videos about Unity game development. What you might not have noticed unless you've kind of looked through all my videos is that I am a Halo fan. I'm a lifelong Halo fan. I have done a few things in the Halo community. Some of you might know, but it's very unlikely that I am the creator of the little tiny internet holiday thing, weekly holiday Energy Sword Sunday. It was popular on Tumblr for like almost a year, for a decent amount of time. It has its own Know Your Meme page. Um, I'm not kind of clinging to that as some kind of 5 seconds of fame, clinging to some garbage that put you in the spotlight for a little bit. Like that person who did the, like, whatever the Keanu Reeves thing was, You're Breathtaking or whatever. It's not that. I really like Halo. I only mention the Energy Sword Sunday thing because I think it's really fun. And, you know, if I mention it or if I keep posting about it, maybe it'll come back and other people will post about it. And I'm already a Halo fan, so if I can interact in any way with the Halo community, specifically through Energy Sword Sunday, that would be awesome. So might as well mention it. But the reason I am making this video is because I was invited to the Halo Infinite testing flight, as were a lot of other people, but I just wanted to share a few opinions I have about some of the weapons in the flight. As of recording this video, it is the 31st, so we got the first two AI difficulties, Marine and ODST, and we got the first two maps, which is like that firing range one and that one that's in some kind of power plant. So the weapons that I'm listing are the weapons that are available to us up until that point. So the weapons I'm going to talk about today are the Sidekick, the Assault Rifle, Plasma Carbine, Ravanger, Commando, Battle Rifle, Gravity Hammer, Needler, Bulldog, Heatwave, and Sniper Rifle. And the Skewer, I forgot that one. Let me type that in really quick. There's just a few things that feel a little bit off in the game, but a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is actually my positive impressions of these weapons. The Sidekick, I wasn't sure I was going to like it when I first saw the gameplay for Halo Infinite, because I'm used to the sidearm, except for with the single exception of Halo 2, the sidearm being incredibly powerful, like the Halo CE pistol. But the Sidekick is a very interesting and very balanced weapon, and what really sold me on it is, of course, it's still headshot capable. That's very important, but switching to this weapon is almost completely instantaneous. It's, you press the key to switch, or the button if you're using a controller, and you almost immediately switch to the pistol, so it's really nice. You can tap a few rounds with the assault rifle, take out the shield, and switch to that pistol, and just get a quick headshot. The only thing I'm not a huge fan about with the Sidekick is I think it should take maybe one single less round to kill someone, to put someone down. It feels very, very weak. And I feel like I wouldn't be mentioning this if I didn't think that there was a lot of tweaking that has to go into weapons. I understand it's a demo, it's a flight, they're going to be changing things. If I hadn't already seen how terrible the Bulldog is and how completely ineffective it is, I would be thinking, well, they've probably tested this in a lot of different environments and they come to the conclusion that this is exactly how many shots it should take to kill someone with. But they also messed that up with the battle rifle in the Halo 3 beta as well. I believe the Halo 3 battle rifle was like a 3-burst kill or something like that. Something ridiculous. And that's the beta that you get to play if you bought, or in my particular instance, rented Crackdown from Gamerang, which is like a Gamefly equivalent thing. So I like the Sidekick, but I think it's just a little too weak. One less shot to kill, and I think it would feel like a real weapon. And it shouldn't be on par or competitive with the battle rifle, but right now it's, at least in my opinion, if someone has a battle rifle and you have a pistol, you are toast. And I think you should have some possibility of winning that engagement. Like, obviously, if you're both absolutely perfect at aiming, the battle rifle's going to win. But right now it feels hopeless if you run into someone with a battle rifle and you have the pistol, unless you really, outsmart them, as the entire engagement process of Halo is all about that, getting them with a grenade, taking out their shields that way and shooting them in the head or something. But if it's just a raw precision to precision weapon battle with the battle rifle and the pistol, you're gonna get owned. And I just feel like the pistol is just a little tiny itsy bitsy too weak. Maybe if it even had a slightly faster firing rate. I don't know if it's capped, the speed. I imagine it is, because people have really, really fast trigger fingers, and I doubt they would want anybody to be able to shoot ridiculously fast. Like, the carbine in Halo, of course, was capped at a certain speed, even though it's a semi-automatic weapon, which makes perfect sense. But maybe the sidekick should be able to shoot a little faster, or possibly take one less shot to kill someone, or one less shot to drop shields, so you get that one crucial headshot in at the end. They added a couple interesting medals for it, like I believe it's called Quick Draw, where you switch your weapon and instantly kill someone. After immediately switching your pistol, you kill them by assumedly getting a headshot. I think that's a pretty cool medal. I've noticed that the medals in this game are pretty interesting. There's one that I got specifically. It's called like Achilles spine, and it's for back smacking, or as in the Bungie universe, assassinating somebody who has an overshield, which I think is a cool and very specific achievement, and something that you could perform. I don't know if anyone in watching this video is familiar with 343's old kind of practices for medals, specifically with what is it called? Halo 4? I don't know if Reach started this or if it was Halo 4, but I'm not a fan of either of them, but I'm pretty sure it's Halo 4, where you would get a medal for killing someone with a rocket launcher, or you would get a single medal for killing someone with a sword. And it's really, really weird that they give you medals for killing someone with a power weapon. Power weapons are specifically designed to have high like damage output, and like it's all about grabbing them on the map and controlling where the power weapons are and stuff like that. And it's awesome to use them, and they're really fun, but you really shouldn't get a medal for getting a single kill with a rocket launcher. It's really odd. They really depreciated the values of medals in Halo 4. But on to the next weapon, the assault rifle. I don't know if aiming down sights in this game actually increases your accuracy, or if it just gives you a zoom magnification, but I think the assault rifle is very interesting in the sandbox this time around. It really leaves room for some kind of automatic close range weapon. So if they add the SMG, which I don't think they're going to do, or if some kind of brute equivalent adds that kind of really up close utility, that'll be interesting. But right now the assault rifle is really good at close, medium, and sometimes even long range engagements. But obviously any other kind of weapon is going to outshine it at long range. But it can actually hold its own at a distance, which is kind of interesting, and it's at a point where I don't think it's broken. Like, you really have to tap it at long distance to try and kill someone. Anybody who has a pistol, which they can easily switch to because it's another starting weapon, or a battle rifle, is just going to mellow you anyway. So I think the way it is right now is pretty interesting. I am not a fan at all of the Reach aesthetic kind of detachable ammo counter thing that's going on. I would like this design a lot better if it just wasn't the detachable attachment thing on the rail, the Picatinny rail up there. It would be really nice if it was just the singular unit, because I really, really love the old design. They could even keep like the other parts of the design that are in the new one, like the weird under tube thing that is where the handle is, and all the kind of greebled garbage they added on there. I just don't want that ugly ass ammo counter thing. But I understand that it's still nostalgic to people from Reach because that game's getting pretty old as well. But personally, I really, really prefer the singular kind of upper rail unit thing. Oh, I just saw a hawk out my window. The Plasma Carbine is a very strange weapon to me. I really don't like it. I understand specifically from having bots melt me with it and using it specifically when in a very controlled environment, like in the weapons testing thing, that it's very easy to kill people in there. But even at like the third level weapon testing thing for that, it's kind of hard to track those people, and they're moving at a very consistent way that is going to be nowhere near what people are going to play like online. So I think the Plaza Carbine, and I understand that the projectiles are really slow for a reason, as projectile weapons, and it makes it kind of diversifies the sandbox. But I think they move too slow, and it just feels really odd and really weird to me, and I can't see myself ever picking up this weapon. Maybe just picking it up out of, forgetting how awful it is. Maybe other people like it, but I really don't like it. The Ravanger, sorry, I added an extra N in there somewhere, I think for no reason. The Ravager is really, really interesting. I don't think the training thing does it a service to letting people know how you can use it, because I didn't know it had an alternate like charging fire mode, because I specifically remember in the training thing, and I might be wrong, that it just says firing the Ravager leaves pools of like heated plasma that can damage people when they walk on top of it. And I didn't see that happening. I was just like, oh, it just does splash damage. I see that. But I don't think it tells you to charge the shot. But I learned that the hard way in the middle of a match when somebody blasted me with it. But that's me just complaining about the context of it within like the menus and the training thing. But I really like the alternate fire of this weapon. I would go as far as to say just have that be the primary fire and get rid of the weird burst fire thing, and just make it an actual power weapon, because the regular burst fire is just weird, and it's just like a regular, AoE blast type thing. And if they are bringing back the brute shot, which if the toy line is any indication they are, it's just another AoE weapon that even further specifically just fits into the brute's wheelhouse thing. So I'm not sure what the point of that is. I would just get rid of the primary fire altogether, have it charge and blast and like melt people and get on the floor, like a kind of map awareness and kind of containment type thing, where you don't want people to go a specific way, or you want to lock down a different power up in a route, and you could blast it with a thing and it lasts a decent amount of time, and then somebody could grapple over it, or grapple into it and grab a weapon that would previously been unable to grab because there's fire in the way. I really like its charge fire thing. I don't get the point of the primary fire. I understand a lot of work has been put into each weapon, and they've already designed it, and they've already designed specific stats and specific effects for the regular fire, so there's absolutely zero chance they would ever get rid of it. But that's my suggestion. Just make it a full-on power weapon, get rid of the regular fire mode, and just do the charge shot, because it's really, really cool, and make the melee do extra damage. Any of the weapons that have the blade on it, I think, should do extra damage. I'm not sure exactly how this system defines damage with melee weapons. I don't know if it's the same as the old system in 3, where it's like you hit twice, once to get rid of the shields, once to hit someone, whereas I don't know if it's 3 or Reach. I'm pretty sure it's 3, where even if you have almost no shield left, like 1 point of shield left, and somebody whacks you, it's just going to deplete your shield, and then they could get a hit on you. I really like that system. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't want to ever have my shield and then be whacked and then go straight into death. But I think that maybe the Ravager or something could counteract that, or any of the brute weapons, but whatever. The plasma pistol, I think, is pretty good in this. It does a decent amount of damage. I think every weapon for some reason has a headshot modifier or multiplier. I think that applies to the plasma pistol as well. Once again, it's another weapon that just randomly has aim down sights. Does a plasma pistol really need aim down sights? I like that the battery drains as you hold it, as it used to. I do not like that you can pick up ammo from any kind of energy weapon. It kind of, I don't know, diminishes the personality of the energy weapons in this game. Especially in the campaign. Like, I can imagine, or anybody who's ever played a Halo game, other than like the carbine or the needle rifle, specific things that take ammo like the fuel rod gun, um, you would pick up plasma pistols. They're incredibly common. Needlers are incredibly common. You would pick them up and you'd be like, oh wow, I'm low on plasma pistols, or I'm low on energy from my plasma pistol or plasma rifle. I gotta grab another weapon, and that kind of like made the combat loop and everything more interesting. I'm not sure why they would. Well, I'm sure why they would do it because I thought it would be easier for people to understand, but it's just less interesting in my opinion. Um, Other than that, the plasma pistol's back. New combo is pretty nice with the plasma pistol, especially since you can switch to the sidekick so quickly. Something I forgot to mention with the sidekick, I really, really wish it had that forward slide cover with like the other magnums in other Halo games, because it really just looks like a USP or like 5.7 or whatever it used to look like before they added the little under thing. But it really, really needs that forward like rhino horn slide cover. That's really, really interesting for the magnums and stuff from Halo. And you can say, oh, they're gonna add the magnum too. In that case, what's your point? I don't want them to add the magnum. I want them to have a specifically incredibly fine-tuned pistol that works really well in the sandbox and works for that specific purpose. If they add the other magnum, what are they going to do? Add the other magnum, it's as strong as the CE one, or it's as strong as the Halo 3 one? What's the point? It's either going to serve a redundant purpose in the sandbox, or you can fine tune it so that it fits nicely and is just the weapon that it is. So just, we don't need the other magnum back. Keep the sidekick, give it the incredibly recognizable slide cover thing, and you're good. One less shot to kill, and it'll be a really cool weapon. Next is the Commando. I hate the Commando. I liked it when I was testing it out in the firing range, but it's really weird. I feel like I very often aiming directly at the head at very close range and compensating for the weapon kick, but the bullets just aren't hitting the head for some reason. It just feels like a weird weapon. And my complaints for it before I played the flight were that it was a redundant weapon in the sandbox. Do we really need another headshot capable weapon? It's just a mix between the assault rifle and like a DMR. It's boring. And I still think it's boring, but I don't think it's quite as redundant anymore. It's kind of its own weapon, but I don't think it's very interesting. I don't think it's super practical. And currently, I think the hit registration is really odd on it. It has bloom, I believe, but the bloom is readily contained after a single shot. Like you shoot one shot or two, and then it kind of feathers around maybe 2 times the spread of the original shot, and it stays there no matter how much you shoot. And it's very strange and very difficult to land headshots with, in my opinion. I don't know if it's just something wrong with my FOV or how it's working with that. Speaking of which, I'm having issues with my reticle. It often just cuts itself in half, like the graphic on the UI is not overflowing correctly, and it just disappears. But I really don't like the Commando. I also really don't like its design. I think it's really ugly. Going back not too far to the plasma pistol, I don't like its design either. I didn't really have that much of a problem with the Halo 5 plasma pistol. I understand this is basically the same thing, but there's so much character in every single other plasma pistol, even the Reach one. I hate the Reach plasma pistol with its ugly ass iron sight and extra details, but it's still more interesting than the Halo 5 plasma pistol. That being said, I don't think the Halo 5 plasma pistol is a bad design. It's just not very interesting. Like, it doesn't have iconic things like the kind of orange like handle that goes on the CE or after, like any of the other weapons. Any of the other plasma pistols throughout the Halo games has that orange kind of handle, and it's very interesting looking. And the Halo 5 one is just kind of a blue block of puffy metal. I'm not sure what the point is. Moving on to the battle rifle, I really enjoy the battle rifle. I think it's one of the best battle rifles we've ever had. It feels really, really good. It feels like, if you don't scope, it's just slightly past medium range, but if you do scope, it's like any range, and it feels really, really good. The model looks amazing, and it's just the battle rifle. The battle rifle's back. There isn't much to say about it. It might be a little too powerful. It might need to be nerfed a little bit, and I'm not sure how that would happen. But I picked it up on the power plant level, and I just got like 3 overkills in one match. So it's a little ridiculous compared to any of the starter weapons. It's like a power weapon. Um, and with the cycling weapon sets for the levels, it really sucks because it's either the battle rifle or the commando in some sections, and it's like, oh, we rolled the commando, and now the match is going to be a lot less boring than the battle rifle. And they always set it up in a way that the weapons you don't want are always matched together. Like one preset for the firing range, one is the commando, the skewer, and the heat wave, and they're all terrible. But I don't know how I feel about that. It's just kind of weird. Gravity hammer's back, and it's awesome. I always wondered what was a good way of kind of balancing the melee weapons. The gravity hammer has a huge radius and it kills everything, and it's really, really nice. It is a really cool tell on the weapon where there's like 3 trails from the top of it. But what's really cool about it is that the attack for it is really delayed. It has like a wind up and you smash it down. It's really, really cool, and I like it a lot. Not much to say about it. I wish that the regular melee attack with it was much faster, about as fast as like the regular melee for any other weapon. Like, because sometimes what happens is it's also for swag points and style points. If you're behind somebody with the gravity hammer in any other game and you press just the regular melee button instead of the primary attack, you'll just back smack them with the butt of the handle or the very bottom of it, and it won't use any of your charge, and it just feels really good to not waste any of your energy and say like, hey, I killed you this way and I could have smashed you to pieces, but I just, lazily smacked you. It's really like that. But I tried using the regular melee and it seemed faster than the primary, but it seemed still slow, and you like whack with the rest of the hammer. So I don't know about that. The needler is next. It's kind of a confusing weapon. I'm not really sure what's going on with it. You can like feather the trigger for it, and it seems like if you don't do that, sometimes it's really difficult to land shots. Like, you'll kind of like try and lead your shots, you'll tap it, and then only sometimes will it actually go where you're aiming. I think the design of it looks good. It's not just, for the first time in a really long time, it's not just the Reach model again. Unless I'm missing something, it looks like a completely new model, which is highly appreciated. But I think it just needs like, I don't know, 30% more clip or something like that. Maybe it's better at like ultra long range while you're aiming down sights or something. Not ultra long range, but like medium or slightly higher than medium. But right now it just feels not very effective. And speaking of not effective, next is the Bulldog. The Bulldog, I think, is a 3-shot kill. I don't know if it has a headshot multiplier. I imagine it doesn't. It would be kind of silly if it did, unless they shot a single guaranteed forward shot that always went directly forward, and that had a headshot multiplier. That would add some kind of skill to it. But I believe it is a 3-shot kill, and it just feels like hot garbage. It is shit. It's like, especially compared to what it's replacing, like any of the shotguns from any of the other Halo games just feel amazing. They feel really nice. I mean, obviously, except for the Halo 2 and Halo 3 shotguns are garbage. But it's just like, the shotgun should be powerful. It's supposed to be a power weapon, and it just doesn't feel like it. It should be able to one-hit kill people, and it should be able to do it at the range of at least half of an energy sword lunge, but it really, really doesn't. And it feels terrible, and it takes out the very specific, very cool kind of aspect of the weapon's design where you have to load each bullet at a time. But now you barely have to pump it. It shoots like fucking 10 rounds a second, and it just feels bad. The heat wave takes that spot where you can kind of like charge one shot at a time, but the heat wave is also really strange. I really like that it has an alternate fire where you like press the aim button and it does something different, but it just feels really weak. I feel like there's very difficult to get those bank shots that were in that fancy multiplayer trailer because I shoot and it bounces and it does just about the same amount of damage as the last shot did, but it's less likely to hit. So I think they really need to like double the damage every time it bounces or something so you could potentially get a one-hit kill, because the chances of you bouncing it twice and hitting someone are so incredibly low that if you're doing it strategically and getting you that on purpose, then that'll be very rewarding. But right now it just feels like a crappy weak shotgun with a kind of cool design and an interesting concept behind it. The sniper rifle, the sniper rifle feels terrible, and that's only one specific reason for that. I think the sniper rifle is amazing in this game. I think it feels great other than this one specific aspect, but this one specific aspect of its design in this game is so overwhelmingly bad that it just makes me not want to use it. And that is that no scoping isn't 100% accurate. If you scope onto the head of a character that's not moving, and then you unscope, so at a certain range or at all ranges, but you know the chances of hitting it decreases at range, the shot should go perfectly where directly in the middle of your screen, whether you are scoped or unscoped. That adds an interesting level of skill. No scopes are difficult because you need eagle eyes to be able to pick out the little pixels that is someone's head on the screen, but no scopes are not 100% accurate. You can scope in on someone's head, descope, and shoot, and it will not land on their head. There is about a 50% chance that it'll miss at medium range, and then at long range, maybe like every 4 shots, you'll actually hit them in the head. This is very odd for a precision weapon. I'm not sure why they decided to do this, but they decided to do it, and it just feels really off for the sniper rifle. Other than that, I love the way it sounds, I love the way it looks, I love that you can move your weapons around. I really like to center the weapons just to the right of the center of the screen. It feels really good. I could see more on my screen, and the sniper rifle looks good that way too. But I'm not sure why they decided to do that no scope thing. I'm definitely going to leave a note about that in the feedback after the flight, but hopefully they change something to do with that. And lastly, I believe the only other weapon I haven't mentioned in this flight is the Skewer. And the Skewer feels kind of weird. I might be wrong about this, but I believe shooting it and then reloading takes too long to get a multi-kill with it. And I don't think any weapon should ever take so long that you can't get a multi-kill with it. You can get a multi-kill by shooting, switching weapons, and then killing somebody and getting a double kill. But I think that the reload for the Skewer is long enough that you can't get 2 kills with it in a row to get a double kill. And I'm not sure why they would do that. I believe every single weapon that's ever been in Halo, you can get a multi-kill with it. And with the Skewer, you can't even get a multi-kill like a piercing or something, because you shoot somebody and it impacts them and it hits them and they just fall like a sack of bricks. But it really should be like in Half-Life where it stabs into them and it launches them into the wall and they stick to it. That would be really awesome. That would be really cool. And if they could do it, this would be an awesome thing that would just add so much to these sandboxes. If you could shoot it into the wall and then stand on the Skewer, I don't know if that's something you can do. Pretty sure you can't. I don't know if they can do that, but that would be pretty sick. I feel like the weapon just needs more versatility. Like, it should be able to pierce enemies. And I understand that takes away the really cool part of the spike going in them and staying in them, but I think it should hit the first enemy, then zoom as far as it can before losing momentum, carrying that body with it. And if it hits a wall, it pins them to the wall. But if it hits another player, it hits that player and insta kills them. So you could get 2 kills with 1 shot and no more than that. But it should be able to do something like that, and I think that would be a good medal. It could be like a shish kebab medal or something like that. But right now it's a insta-kill weapon with a very short scope, and it doesn't do anything really. The melee doesn't one-hit kill either. Of course it shouldn't, because that'll take away from the actual one-hit kill melee weapons, but it has a giant spike at the front, so it kind of makes you feel like that. Maybe it should have a much longer lunge, but still be weaker. I'm not sure what the point of it is. I hear that it's good against vehicles, but I haven't had a chance to do anything with vehicles in it. But I can't imagine it's any better than, say, a Spartan laser or something like that. So right now it feels kind of weird to me. I'm not sure what the point of it is. Um, it should at least be able to reload faster, so you can get multi-kills with it. I understand that it's a one-hit kill no matter where you hit them on the body, but I like the design of it. I like what it's trying to do. It's just not doing a very good job. And I really want to like it, but I can't. I think that's just about all the weapons in the game. We're getting near 30 minutes on here. And I completely understand that not very many people are going to watch this. I'd be surprised if I even get 100 views on this. I got a lot of views on my reaction to the Halo Infinite kind of demo that was out, the video one, and I had a very negative, experience with that video. I thought it wasn't very good, and I got a lot of negative feedback on that. Hopefully, people watching this can see that this is supposed to be constructive criticism. I'm pointing out the things I don't like about these weapons, and for a lot of them, suggesting ways that they can fix them, but I don't know. It's just I really do like the demo so far. I like the flight. It's just some of these weapons, and weapons are like 90% of the game. Um, some of these weapons just feel either redundant or pointless. And I don't know. I'm just going to put feedback on here. I'm going to fill out their survey and mention all of this. And hopefully in this flight or the next flight, they can work on that and possibly get these weapons to actually be worth using, some of them. I'm not saying all the weapons are bad, just the ones I'm specifically mentioning that I don't like. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and have a good Energy Sword Sunday. See ya.